How's it going, folks? This sort of topic has raised probably a couple of days ago, and it kind of got me thinking about it. And for myself, who lived in Australia, I will say probably minus 3 years, which 3 years I stayed in China. But I live in Australia pretty much most of my life, right? First world country, most people around the world wants to move into this country. But one thing that I do notice is the fact that it, in a sense of a way, right now the whole globe is shifting towards to making make Australia great again. Bring back factories, or perhaps any other countries doing the same slogan. Buy our own goods, stop heavy rely on China or other country. Let's bring our manufacturers factories back to our country. And let's start to think about our own people, or providing jobs or whatever. And one thing that it strikes the most is people likes cheap, and everyone likes cheap, right? Nobody wants to pay premium product. Everyone wants cheap, and especially in Australia, we buying cheap and everything, right? We can't afford to buy premium, and this creates a huge ripple effect, and as well with what government in the past has allowed foreign companies or foreign brands to come to Australia to or come to your country and compete with local brands, and local brands usually get out competed because you're comparing slavery wages down to $1 or $2 per day in their country compared to those who works in Australia have holiday pay, annual leave, taxes, super, sick, unions behind, and we addicted to cheap. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of them. All right, and it is something that I ask myself this question because all of us, this globalization, this consumerism, and we addicted to cheap, and things breaks, we don't repair, we just do the shortcut, just get a brand new one. It's a lot easier to deal with. And one thing that I do know, the fact that living in Australia, it doesn't matter how you live. Nobody judge you the way how you live or how you buy. But nobody is willing to pay for the premium price. Right? Now, when I mean by premium price, I don't mean by iPhone compared to Samsung. No, I'm not comparing like technology, like in that sort of sense. I'm all general, all right? It's like we don't buy premium meat. Like we can't afford to buy premium or enjoy buying premium meat or things like that. The premium stuff usually goes shipped, exported to go to overseas. In this scenario, I have to say Australia, we're shipping our lobsters, the best grade meat, lobsters winery, to China, right? And now, when China banned all those export goods in Australia, wheat and all this stuff, we can't afford. Even locals can't even afford to buy the premium stuff, and we addicted to the cheap stuff, right? Now, for example, you buy that local meat pie. I can't say local meat pie, but if you buy that meat pie, the kids go to canteen to buy meat pie, or sausage rolls, or chicken corn, or chicken rolls, or whatever rolls you guys call it. They put of the worst cut of the meat, grind it up, put some fancy sauce and some preservative or whatever, and then served it to you, and you eat it. And you don't know what's good and what's bad. One good thing about Chinese people that I do know, especially those who hasn't brought up spoiled, and who's been brought up eating fresh all the time, especially my parents always, or people or those who are premium product stuff like the French people, they could tell by eating that steak they know that's frozen or that's fresh, or they know that meat has been sitting there for a long time. They could tell straight away. My parents can tell if you cook two crabs, one is dead and one is alive, you mix it together, cook in one plate. My parents will find out which one there is one dead and one alive. But when we eat like cheap stuff, we can't tell what's premium. We can't tell the taste and things like that, especially with the society that we live in right now. Everything what we eat is in the package, or perhaps it's ready to be slaughtered, it's ready on the plate. But when those who come from Asian, it's been brought up, with wet market, they, even though they live in Australia or Western world for that many years, they could tell the difference, right? What's fresh and what's not fresh, like by them just eating. And this is something that not only just that, but we're addicted and we're greed and we are addicted to cheap stuff. I'm just putting food on the side, but let's just put on the real scenario, right? Building a house, building materials, and I get to see a lot of customers wants to cut costs, wants to get the cheapest of the cheapest. Nowadays, building materials is worse than worse because now labor is costing so expensive because in Australia, we pay by the hour, right? People say plumbers gets $80 or $120 per hour, blah, 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 blah. They just want to get it done quick, easy. And houses being built by very cheap, whether it's foam or eco-friendly, this sort of stuff, is not as good as what it used to be. Very proper wood, timber structure. They're just using something simple and get it done. Soft wood, where back in the days they used hardwood. It just gets there and there and there. But when it comes to cars and mobile phones, it's a one-off, you get a pay. But when a society doesn't push forward to buy premium product, it dumbs down the whole society, just focus on the cheap product. Right, so you focus on the cheap one, and that's about it. And how do you make a country and people, around the globe, and, China, when it comes to export and, importing, all big companies, they all know Australia always addicted to the cheap stuff anyway. So we can't afford to buy expensive stuff. So we rely on to buy expensive stuff from overseas. So the moral of the whole thing is that even though the country's talking about, bringing back, jobs or factories or things like that, or many who live in Australia and never thought we will come to this day, we ship all our jobs out overseas and not paying taxes or this and that. We're addicted to cheap stuff because that's the way how it is. And not only just Australia, I think it's around the world. This globalization benefits the consumerism taste and the bang of their money pocket, back of their pocket. But yeah, but that's about it. Yeah, about it.